I have a message to the world. It is from our friends out here in the galaxies beyond. It is from other beings, higher frequencies that are channeling. It is from even people who are a little misdirected. I'm going to give you examples of this that has been happening for decades that are so in our face right now. I'm going to tell you how important absolutely every word counts, is, and your thoughts that can change the entire history of the planet. I'm going to give you one example that's going to blow your mind, because if you really think about this, you'll realize how much we have to pay attention to this and start listening to this and feeling this. It is time. It's the tipping point. I have a message to the planet, and it's not just from me, and I'll give you examples. Are you ready for this? Let's go. Welcome to Landria Anka on YouTube, here to help you break through fears and live an amazing life. I hope you'll subscribe. I'm going to give an example today that we've already discussed that is going to demonstrate to you the seriousness of every single word that comes out of your mouth and mine. And that starts with this. And if we allow this to be controlled by ego instead of this, we can change the directives of this entire planet in a way that we don't want to see. When we listen to this, we will go into the new era, the new world. And by the way, it is an individual choice. We've talked about the new earth, and not everyone will participate. No, a spaceship isn't going to come down, spacecraft come pick us up, although that's a possibility. Maybe there's a few that they'll select. But this is beyond that. These are dimensions and realities that all exist at once in one time. There is no such thing as time. Past, present, and future all exist as one thing happening. There's no such thing as time. That was my download. Now, if you read the first just few pages of my book, I got the message to humanity. And some of you have read it over and over again and realize you get more and more out of it. There are messages to humanity right now happening. Now, one thing I want to offer you is, if you're entrepreneurial and you want to participate in a new world where we're creating planet conscious businesses, we're responsible business owners, we're earning in a way that's good for ourselves, healthy for the planet and others. It's a new paradigm shift in every area of your life. If you're ready for that, that's free. You can check it out. We're doing amazing things. This is the focus now. I'm going to mention something right now that some of you got a little defensive about. And I heard what I heard firsthand. It was not edited in any way. It was direct. And by the way, I just saw an interview with Darryl Anka, not Bashar, Darryl Anka on New Thinking Aloud. This subject that I'm going to bring up again was brought up, and he skirted the issues and never answered the question and said that we need to go to another video. Of course, that he's going to benefit greatly of if we all go over there to see what Bashar had to say about a comment he had prior to the elections that was devastating, and I'm going to tell you why it is. I want you to think about this. No matter what you think of Bashar or Darryl Anka, that's fine. That's your opinion. I'm not here to dispute that. But I want to share with you how important what's going on out there and the words of every person, including yourself, are. And I'm not talking some little thought. Your small thoughts are massive. They're just as powerful as the big ones. Now, if you have continued focus on one direction and maybe have one little doubt or self-sabotage or I can't do this or some negative or, judgment or whatever, that will be a part of your energy field. But these thoughts can and beliefs can absolutely overpower it. However, that doesn't go away. It doesn't override it. These still exist. So your frequency does come down because this still exists. This has to be eliminated. Now, what is... Somebody said, I don't even know what Bashar said. Good. Good. I just happened to watch it because I want to check on things before I respond to you guys. Darryl Anka claims that an alien, his future self, who is an extraterrestrial, is in a spacecraft over planet Earth and has been there for decades, and that his future self sits up there and channels through him all these messages. Now, I remember seeing a couple videos of Bashar way back when and thought, very cool messages, very encouraging, empowering, think for yourself, love, compassion, passion, which my whole business platform is based on: passion, purpose, positive impact. It's all about the positive things we can do and starting from that higher frequency. He made a comment in September, I think it was 24th of 2024. You can look it up in Sedona. It's the real deal. And he said, when asked who would come into office in our presidential elections, he said, "I will give this to you if you take full responsibility." Well, we already do, so he didn't have to say anything past that. We do take responsibility, and whatever we do, we choose. The next comment he made not only was not necessary, but I'm going to share with you why it was so powerful. It wasn't just, he said something stupid. It goes beyond that, because today I'm filming this on Inauguration Day of Donald Trump. He said, if the female comes into office, we will have open contact. If the male comes in office, he didn't say the feminine or the masculine. Don't skew this. This is what he said, and I'm just giving you what he said. All right? He said it, not me. I'm quoting, and the reason I'm bringing this up, you're going to find out here in a second. It's going to blow your mind. If the male comes in office, the U.S. will dissolve. The U.S. will dismantle. The United States of America, dismantled. And there will be World War III. How's he backpedaling on this? He wouldn't answer the question in New Thinking Aloud. Why? Because he knows that he did some serious damage with that statement. How? Because there are millions of people out there that rely on him, because he has gained our trust. And this is a very, very big point I'm making right now, because a lot of you are doing this. Because somebody does this all this time means that everything they do is okay and everything they say is good. No. They can shift anytime. Their ego can come in. They can get all this attention all of a sudden, wield so much power, and the ego will start talking. And then maybe Darryl Anka comes in, which is, I believe, what was happening. I believe he's probably a Democrat, and he wanted to dissuade anybody and frighten them, and it worked. He used a fear tactic, and no alien was going to do that. Now, his backpedaling was, well, Bashar says he was testing us to see our fear level. Doesn't that sound familiar? Drones, military, under whatever guise or name they call themselves, are supposedly putting the drones up. We don't know. I don't know. But supposedly that's what's going on. Let's say it is. They're testing our fear level. Do you think it's a good thing? No, it's never good. Why do you need to test somebody's fear level? Test it? For what? What are you doing, Bashar? So here's what I'm going to ask you. What do you think, and the day's not over, what do you think would happen if somebody who puts so much stock into what he says that thinks that perhaps they could do us all a big favor and stop World War III by doing some damage to our president? What do you think? That was the most damaging statement that could have hit somebody who might be emotionally unstable, maybe very weak-minded, maybe ego-driven, that thinks that if they don't take some action, that our president, now officially our president, could take us into World War III. He didn't say maybe. He said will. This is damaging. Shut it down. Shut it down. He could have put our President of the United States in jeopardy from that. In fact, he did. He did. Because if somebody comes and says, I'm going to, Bashar, I'm in charge. That was a warning. Oh no, it was a test? Bullpucky. Bullpucky. That was no test, my friend. That was somebody else talking, and it was not a benevolent alien. It wasn't. I want you to start watching, and this has been my message, and it will be more and more, that you will be tested, and it isn't by people or entities or anything that cares about us. It's going to test us for all the reasons that aren't a positive one. In other words, where's our weakness? Where's our weakness? And if we're fearful, what's our next step? Because anybody who would say anything to take you into fear is not speaking from compassion and love. I want you to think for yourself. When I saw that, I about fell off my chair. I said, that is not the Bashar that I've heard years ago. Not that I've been watching him much. I don't want to see what he has to say after that. The damage has been done. And so we've talked about Stephen Greer, and there's a new whistleblower, Jason, I can't remember his last name, but I want you to know what the message is to humanity. We won't have all the facts, and all of these supposed whistleblowers and people, they're not agreeing with one another. Some of them are so driven by the attention and their egos and naming all these people that they know. It doesn't matter. None of it matters. It's all about us coming together. How do we provide food? How do we protect the children? How do we protect ourselves from institutions and corporations who are not looking after our best interests? We have to start making higher choices. We have to stop using the products that are destroying our bodies and the planet. We have to stop reinforcing all of these things out there that tell us that we should be at odds with each other. We have to stop believing that, because as long as you and I are arguing in conflict and you're in my comments telling each other you're wrong, you are staying exactly where other people want you to be, because they're shooting fear into you to tell you that there's somebody who's wrong that you need to fight against. Conflict resolves no problems. Conflict has no good purpose on here. Now, here's the message to humanity. Take that, and how powerful every word is. It came from a thought. He had to think something there. If I say this, maybe I can sway enough people, because he reaches millions of people, to think, oh my gosh, I can't. Maybe somebody on the fence, I have to vote this way. I know that there was an agenda behind it. It wasn't a good one. All right? So let's talk about what the message to humanity is. There was a documentary that I want to share with you. I'm going to do it right now because I want to quote it perfectly to you. It's called The Phenomenon. It's on PopNet on YouTube. It may not be legal for them to do that, but I know you can watch The Phenomenon free on other channels. So do your investigation and make sure you don't violate any copyright by supporting channels who are not supposed to be showing it. This is a great documentary about the various cases out there of UFO contact. But one in particular I want to mention to you is children in South Africa out in the playground who all experienced a UFO landing. These kids were interviewed by a psychiatrist one at a time separately, and they said the exact same thing. The beings had large eyes, this craft lands, they were standing up there, the being gets out and just stares at them, and that they were locking eyes, and this was like 40 some students locking eyes with this. They were pretty young, anywhere from 5 to 8, something like that, 10. And they repeated the exact same message. You must take care of your planet before it's too late. It's important for you to take care of your planet. And so there was this message over and over again to these children. So they're growing up with this message in here that we're destroying our planet. And that this being that did not feel threatening to them, it's scary because it looked scary. It has any of those big eyes, black. Well, we're programmed from movies to think that's negative. It's probably some kind of a protective cover for their eyes. Maybe they can't handle, our atmosphere. I don't know. But the bottom line is they were communicating telepathically. This has been happening constantly. I watched that documentary last night. It was originally shot quite some time ago, and the kids who witnessed some of these things are grown up now. I want you to go watch that documentary. The message is the same. Now this new whistleblower, Jason, who's a helicopter pilot, I don't think he's a Navy SEAL, but he's a special ops guy. He firsthand witnessed picking up craft that is not of a human nature. That was made very clear to him. He knew when they picked it up, it was not made by anybody on Earth, even any companies here that are advanced. And so his life was in danger. I do believe him on this, but here's what I want to share with you. And if you saw my last video, he received a message. He was so overcome when he went to go pick up one of these craft. He was so overcome with emotions and unconditional, amazing love, which he called a feminine energy field. He said that it possessed him. Now, don't be afraid of that, meaning that he was infiltrated with this beautiful energy field, of which he says is still with him, which is probably why he's stepping out to tell us that we need to watch ourselves. We need to be careful what we expose ourselves to, what we believe, and what we're being distracted by. And so he is out there, of course, you know, if his life was in danger, he's better off coming out and at least saying, hey, I'm here, and being a whistleblower. I don't even like that term. He's just one of many. Chris Bledsoe, I believe in Chris, I'm sure there's a spin on his story that's his alone, and how accurate it is, I don't know, but I do believe that he is in contact with benevolent beings. He doesn't believe that there are any out here looking to destroy us, but that our neighbors want to see us succeed, and now they're stepping in because we are getting to a point where we are in the tipping point, maybe beyond coming back. We do have a choice. You can go into new era and golden era where everything changes while others go into the basement and you'll be in the penthouse. I was just talking to one of my new students. She says she used to think of it as the bleachers. I said, that's true. You can look down and see everybody when you're at the top of the bleachers, but if you're in the bottom of the bleachers, you can't see up there unless you turn around, of course. But in the penthouse, you can't see, and in the darkness, you can't see each other, but you're down there with the same frequency. Right? So until you make a decision to go up, you're not going to experience that beautiful space, that beautiful view, and what's up there. This is how it works, and everybody has this choice. So don't worry, you are not going to be left behind, and don't worry about your family. Nobody ever expires. We are eternal, so we just go off and learn new lessons in different adventures and experiences. The message is the same over and over again, and as Chris Bledsoe receives messages from what he calls the lady, the glowing white lady, sort of like Mother Mary, like he's not Catholic, but giving messages that we could go through an apocalypse. We could go through things. Could. It is not inevitable. It is still a choice. We can avoid all of it. All of it. So if you hear that, know that it is only one probability of endless ones. It's equally probable that we'll go into an era of great peace and joy, of great abundance and health, of community and love, unlike any other time period on this earth. And I believe that's what's happening. That is my belief, and that's what I'm choosing. All right, so she also said that in April of 2026, maybe around April, she always comes at Easter time, that we would go into a new era of knowledge, and a feminine one. Interesting that Jason, our helicopter pilot, felt the same way. It was a feminine era. I feel the same. Now, no matter what you're thinking and feeling, I want you to know, if you are spewing words of fear and your beliefs that you believe that's just how it is, then you're creating that reality. You are detrimental to other people because you do influence other people. So by Bashar saying that, I don't even believe it was Bashar. I think it was Darryl Anka, a little bit full of himself that day, and again wouldn't answer that question on New Thinking Aloud because there is no good answer. He was testing the fear level. No aliens testing anything. Shut your pie hole. Watch what's coming out of your mouth. And if you say this is how things are, they are for you. But once you put that energy field out there, you're affecting everything and everyone. And that's why we will not be allowed to destroy ourselves, because it now affects the other dimensions and, of course, galaxies beyond. This is all illusion anyways, but we're still playing the game. So the message to humanity has been consistent. We must change our ways. And things are going to be appearing to let us know we aren't alone more and more. And those may be a little bit of a test to see how we behave. I don't think it's a test. I think it's just getting us used to the fact that they're there. And 46% of people do believe in extraterrestrial life and that they are here or have been here. That's pretty good. I think it's probably much higher even now. And that these young kids, and throughout this whole documentary, the message was the same. That we must make a change, that we are destroying our planet, and that they are here to assist us in making the changes. Free energy, clean energy, no more illnesses. But we have to make that big step. We have to take that big step, and it starts with you. If your thoughts are of blame, pointing fingers, if you think a president or a corporation or any government is the answer to anything, that you're not looking at the power that you wield, because your thought alone changes the entire universe and beyond. We are one thing. It's endless. We can't try and explain what it is. Don't try to as a human being. You're here as an unconscious expression of the one. Go into consciousness and you will start to experience some amazing things. And don't be afraid. Do not go into fear if you want to experience it in the most positive way. Fear is a low frequency. So if you don't want to experience the fearful thing, this is why when people go on spacecraft, it's like, because we don't know it. We've been told it's evil. We're in ego, so we're protecting that. And then if, like Chris Bledsoe now has no fear. Now he's used to it. And this is what's happening. We're getting acclimated to it. Not tested, acclimated. We don't need to hear messages of fear, and it can be so dangerous out there for people who just aren't thinking for themselves. I really hope that our president stays safe and that no one will take these words to heart and know that one person doesn't dictate our future. Not our president, nor Bashar, nor Darryl Anka. You do. And we can all stay safe. We can all work together. And no matter what you think about who's in power, everything's possible and we can change it. You can't do it with conflict. You can do it with peace. And you can affect others by shining your light, just like the one that's coming through here right now. And the more you shine your light, the more you show others the way. That's how it works. And go into that state of love and see the other as you equal, because they are. Source doesn't make mistakes. That is an expression of Source knowing the depths of darkness. But we're coming out of it now. You shining your light will lead the way to others, along with how you change, how you live and work and play and all your relationships, which means, what are you going to do? Every decision counts. Stop using plastic. Go into my description. I have all kinds of sources for you. And guess what? Everything counts. That tube of toothpaste you stop using, and using my bites, you get $5 off with Bite. And what happens? You stop putting tubes out there and stop poisoning yourself. Just because it's being sold and we're allowed to use it here in the United States doesn't make it okay, because the authorities are not placing our well-being first. They're placing greed and money first. That's just how it works. I'm a former investment banker. Trust me, there are things you don't want to know. And I'm not going to tell you about it. All I know is I switched from that world to one where I show people the pathways to positive change. Whether you take them or not, there's neither right nor wrong. I am not here to judge that, but I want you to really give it some thought and ask yourself what you want. Do you want to live in a world of peace and love? Or are you addicted to the conflict and the conspiracies? A lot of you love that. It's a lot of fun, isn't it? Why do we see scary movies? Why do we do any of that stuff? Because it's exciting, right? We watch the movies with the conflict and the hero comes in. Let's be the heroes. This is the message to planet Earth, that we are destroying it and it's time to end this. And it starts with you. There are no more excuses. And we will see some intervention in a most positive, non-invasive way. It will be choices that we can take. But we will not be allowed to harm those beyond our planet that function on a more respectful to nature and higher frequency. Are you ready to join that world? We can, It's possible. I would love to. But I have to show that I've earned it. Do you want to earn it? You can. Again, I hope you'll share my videos. This new whistleblower, I'm going to watch him. News Nation's a pretty cool place. I'm not really a big fan of news of any kind, but I think people are stepping up to give us a different perspective. People that have firsthand experience, not this is what the government's doing, but that I saw this, I picked up craft, I got the message. This is a different and very positive message. I like it. I'm going to believe it for now, at least. You are whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.